Hey everybody, this is Dave coming to you from the Gaming Cave. Today we're going to start a playthrough of Advanced Squad Leader, and I'm using the Yanks module. And so we're going to play scenario, ASL scenario 181, Gavin take. This is at Chef DuPont, France, 6 June 1944. And one of the responsibilities of the airborne troops was the seizure of several key bridges following the D-Day drop. One of these bridges is at Chef DuPont. General James Gavin organized a pickup force to take care of this bridge himself with elements of the 507th split into two groups. He marched on Chef DuPont by closely parallel but different routes. I'm not going to use any of the balancing. It uses board 3. North is this direction, which is the way I have it set up. The Germans set up first and the American moves first. Now, this is not a solo scenario, but I'm playing it solo, so I'm going to play both sides. And doing this is so that I can learn, make sure I'm learning the rules of the game before I go to the solo Advanced Squad Leader. So the Germans have elements of the Grenadier Regiment 1057, Luftland Infantry Division 91 with an ELR of 4, and they must set up into buildings in the area surrounded by this road with a sniper awareness of 0. So this is the road right here, and so we're in those buildings in there. That's where we're set up at. Alright, the Americans have elements of the 507th Parachute Infantry Regiment, 82nd Airborne Division with an ELR of 5, and they enter on turn 1 where indicated, also with a sniper awareness of 0. So pretty much the sniper awareness is going to be null and void because to get it, you can't roll a 0. Gavin Maloney force is here, and we have 6 of the airborne troops that are elite with a 10-3 leader and an 8-0 leader, and then we have the Ostberg force. He comes in on 3I-11, and the Gavin Maloney force comes in on 3Y-1. I have them backwards here. I got to fix that. And he has 4 with him. So that's what we got going on here. Special rules. Environmental conditions are moderate with no wind at the start, and Hex 3M2 is rubbled at ground level, and bore sighting is not available. Okay, so I got these 2 stacks backwards here. Glad that's why we read, right? So these guys, and I will be using my tweezers here as we move along. These guys are all coming in over here on Y1, and these guys are coming in right here at I1. Okay. So, get our turn counter put on the game piece here. US starts first. And I've printed off several player aids. I have the infantry fire table. I go to asl-players.net, and these are all downloadable from these guys. I also have the close combat table if I need it. So I have this one. I have my terrain chart, which is also 2-sided. So I have it available. As you can see up here, this is the regular scenario board, but he also has a scenario player aid, so it lets me put the ELR on the board at wind when we have it, and bigger scenarios, casualty tables, and tracking, all those things. So and night and fog and lots of things that to help track that I don't need, but I use it for the sniper awareness number if we had one. In this case it's 0, and my ELR numbers. Also printed off, I haven't laminated this one yet, but this essential advanced sequence of play by the late Jim McLeod. And this is an advanced sequence of play chart boiled down to the basic actions. So it really helps me understand what I'm doing, and if I need to go look up something I can do that, but it tells me what to do on each one of these, and so that helps a lot. This scenario is 6 turns, and we will see how we do with it, and determine maybe the first couple turns we might be able to get through, because I don't think there'll be a whole lot happening until we get started here. So I do have these squads, these platoons are coming in stacks, but eventually we'll probably break them down because we don't want everybody in one stack getting shot at. And so the Germans do have 5 machine guns. They have 2 mediums and 3 lights. We don't have any for the US. We just have the elite airborne units. Okay, I think that covers everything I needed there for the scenario to start. And like I said, we'll see how this goes. This is my first playthrough with the video, and I can tell you it's been a long time since I played Squad Leader, and even then I played it with my dad, so back in the late 70s and early 80s. So I been excited to get this started, but there's lots of things, and the hardest thing about playing solitaire is you don't have anybody to help look up rules or question a move or do anything like that. So I'm sure that somewhere along the line I'm going to do something incorrect, or you guys will see a different strategy than what I see. The other thing, it's hard when you're playing solitaire and you're controlling both sides, because you kind of know what you're already wanting to do. I'm trying not to do that, but we'll see how it works out. Some of it will be determined by how successful a unit is when they're fired on too. I will try to zoom in some so that we'll be able to see what the counters look like. So just like here with the German setup, you can see the leaders and the machine guns. I know in the past I have been there's the rubble. Have not been very good at moving my camera all the time, but I will try to do better on this one. And then we can zoom out. So yes, I am using a different camera than I normally do, but that's where we're at. So there is nothing to rally from the rally phase. So there's nothing to do for the rally phase right now for the first turn. When prep fire for the Americans, we don't have any prep fire, so I won't be doing any prep fire, so we start right into the movement phase. Okay, so I got 2 different lanes that I got to do. The objective, I should have read them. Victory conditions: the Americans win at game end if they have exited greater than or equal to 1 squad equivalent and greater than or equal to 1 leader from Q10. So right down here at the bottom, it's Q10. For every German half squad equivalent that exits via Q10, increase the American exit requirement by 1 half squad. Okay, so 2 things happen here. One, the Germans can exit down here, so that means they're dropping back. So the Americans got to get around here and keep them from exiting. And the Germans also want to keep the Americans from exiting. So it's all the firepower is right here. The Germans set up with a medium machine gun in this stack. They have their leader, another light machine gun, so they can put fire on that space right there. And then we also have squads and leaders up through here, and all of them have a machine gun team. So it really puts down a lot of fire. So I'm not really sure how this will play out, but I'm trying to think of it as both ways. And if I was the German player, what would I want to do? And if I'm the American player, what do I want to do? And the German doesn't want to take off everybody, because then the Americans just follow suit and they win that way, because they'll have more, they would have more potential of getting their men off. Otherwise, the Germans would win, just go 4-4. Everybody would just run off the board before the Americans would get around there, and that would be kind of crazy too. Okay, all right. Enough jabbering, right? Okay, so let's zoom in here a little bit, and let's take a look at this first squad. And this is so with the leader, he can have 6 movement points. These are all 747s right here. and this is Captain Truitt. Sorry, see if I can get that on there. There he is, Captain Truitt. Okay. So they're going to move right in through here. The line of sights are really, there's woods, there's wall, there's buildings, so you really got to get up close before you're going to have a bunch of action start happening. The question is, you know, I can get to this point, but then I got to fight my way across that, or I got to do something to get around here, or I got to try to swing out around here, and these guys are set up right here to watch this field of fire. So it really makes it tough. The Germans have a field of fire right here with this medium, and they have this light machine gun. So they can really cover this terrain right here. So it makes getting across here a problem, and then it also makes getting around here a problem. Okay. So, do we want to get into a firefight here at this wall with these guys and see if we can knock them back and they got the machine guns, or we try to scoot around this thing and get around here? And I think that's my first objective. So this whole stack is going to move. It's going to cost them 2 for the building. And I'm going to do some checking. We have the woods are there also. They're a plus. They're a 2 to move through the woods. And wood buildings a 2. So 2, 4, 6. So this stack comes on here. 2, 4. Yeah, it's going to be a problem with my tweezers. 4 and 6. If they move there, they could be, so we don't want to do that. We want to stop here at 4. And they're going to move one more here, 5. So they're using the woods to block their line of sight so nobody can see them. So that's the key for that group. So we're using these trees to block their line of sight. Okay, now we got to come over to these guys. They're going to move now. Again, problem is we got a hedgerow that's going to block line of sight, and we got trees, and then we got this hill right here. So all this gets blocked. So I can maneuver around this way. I should be able to get through here. 2, 3, 4, 5, and then he's blocked there. So the first platoon is going to move 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then 6. Now these guys can't see. This guy, all this terrain is blocked, so it's actually a good spot for them to move into. And then I have, these guys are entering in the same spot. Oops, yeah, here we go. Be easier with my tweezers when I break my stacks down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right. That's the end of the movement phase. And nobody could fire on anybody moving. So we go to the defensive fire phase. They can't see them, and nobody can see these guys because they're all behind the trees right now. Even though, you know what? I went 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I put these guys on that hill, and I just made my first mistake. I put them on that hill, and they're now visible to the Germans. So the Germans can fire on them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Wow, I made a mistake. Okay, so here's what I did. Yep, and in the solitaire rules it says once you move you can't go back. And so if I make a mistake, then I got to live with it. And so I'm going to learn, even though I'm playing both sides, I'm going to learn from this. I actually made a mistake and I put these guys on this hill thinking open ground, but it's not open ground. They're up on this hill which elevates them and they can now be seen. They're above. So these guys can see them and these guys can see them. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay. His range is an 8. His range is a 12. And at 6, this squad has range. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So he's a 6. He has full firepower 4. And 5 is 9. And these guys have half firepower because it's double their range. So they're going to be firepower 4, but their machine gun can reach 7. So 7 and 9 is 16. Okay, so on the infantry fire table, that would be this row right here, which is a dang good row. So I made a mistake. We're going to see what happens. So we have a 16, and these guys were moving. They're going to get, this is final fire for them because it's their defensive fire phase. So I could have fired them when they moved, but we just waited till they finished moving. So I don't get the movement modifier, do not believe, because once they quit moving, when I go to defensive fire, then they don't get anything else. So yeah, that was a mistake. I should have stayed down there in the woods probably. Okay. So they're firing on a 16. They're in the open. So in the open, open ground. They have a height advantage. So there is no modifier. They're just a straight up 16 firing. We're going to roll. A 16, 10 on 16. Doubles, when you get doubles, makes them cower, but it's not going to matter because, well, they cower. So they're at 16. They have to move one over when they cower, and on a 10, here we go, 10, it's a pin check. So I have to do a pin check on all these guys. So the first guy I got to start with is my leader. He's a 10. Oops, should have rolled him over there where you can see him, but he rolled a 5. So he passes. These guys are 7s. I believe they get the leader modifier -2. First one, 6, he passes. Second one, 7, he passes. Third one, 9, -2 is a 7, he passes. And the fourth one, 7. They all passed. Okay, so nothing happened. So we got lucky. But they fired at us. Okay. These guys, nobody's on the hill over here. So that'll be all the defensive fire. So we take these markers off. And after defensive fire phase, we have advancing fire phase. Well, I'm not firing. So we have advancing fire phase. Yeah, there's no reason, I don't think. Well, let's see. 1, 2, 3. Oh, wait a minute. I grabbed a bad unit there. He was supposed to be a full squad, not a half. Oops. That's from an earlier setup I did. So let me put this guy back. Put him in the right spot here so I don't get him mixed up. Well, Dave, come on. 3-7. Well, I'll set him over here. Don't want to hold the game up. And I need another 7-4-7. Okay. So these guys would be, there's 4 of them at 7. That's 28, but halved is 14. They could fire here where the medium machine gun is. And they're in a stone building. This is a wood building. Maybe they should fire at that group. Be less, be better for them. They're at a 14, which goes down to a 12. They have a leader, -2. Yeah, I gotta check on something. Okay, so we're firing here. We have 2, 3, 4. So that's 28 and half is 14. Firing at the wood building. The wood building has a +2 modifier. So there's a +2 modifier. I have a -2 for my leader, so we're 0. So we're at 14. That would round, that comes down to a 12, so we're firing on that table, 12, and it's a straight up roll. $11. 11. Zoom out so you can see that. 11 on 12 is a miss. So no effect. Okay. Alright, that's it for advancing fire phase. And we have route phase, nobody's routed. Then we have our advance phase, so we can advance. So I'm going to advance these guys down into the woods. These guys are going to advance through the wheat field and into the woods here. So he advanced into the wheat field, he's going to advance into the woods. Okay. Alright. Close combat phase, which we don't have, and then we don't have any markers left on the board. So we then take the turn marker and flip it over to the German side, and it is now Germans, turn 1. So we start with the rally phase, which we don't have anything to rally. And it gives us prep fire. Now, these guys moved. They're up against that wall in the woods, which then creates a line of fire. It blocks him from the light machine gun, because that wall's going to block him. But this medium machine gun could fire right there. And again, he has range now is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So the squad's in range, that's a 4. And the medium machine gun is a 5, that would be a 9. He's going to prep fire. So we put a prep fire marker on him. It says he fired. He's firing here at a 9. He's firing. We have a stone wall and we have woods. So the stone wall The woods have a +1, and the stone wall, looking forward here, oh, it's just wall, +2, so that's a +3 modifier. So that makes it really difficult for them to get those guys, but they have a +3 modifier, and they were a 9, which is going to come down to 8. So they'll be on this chart right here. So we're going to roll, and we get 7. +3 makes that a 10. It just misses. Okay, so no effect. All right, so we avoided that one. That's good so far. All right, any other prep fire? I don't have any other prep fire. These guys are making their move, so I think it's time we go into our movement phase for the Germans, and these guys are going to move. So this would be 1.5. They get a half for that little wheat grain field right there. So they're going to move 1.5. And 3.5. And this leader's coming with them. He's going to move 1, 2 right there, and he'll be with them. So next time they'll gain his movement also. So they moved. So they're getting ready. We can see something's going on the other side of that hill, so we're trying to get prepped up for that. So that's the movement phase. These guys aren't going to move right now. I'm going to leave them where they're at. They're still holding this line right here. And then these guys are, like I said before, they're kind of guarding this edge right here. Okay. So that's the movement phase. We have defensive fire phase. So again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He can seize him. They're in range, so they have a 28. Well, they're not in range, they're long range. So again, they had 28, which in half, because of the long range, makes it a 14. The stone building, I believe, is a +3. So we're going to look here. Stone building. Yes, +3. And he's a -2. So prep fire was over. I can take the prep fire marker off. He's going to do final fire. So we have 14, -2, +3, so it's a +1 to the die roll. Oops, get my table back out here. +1, 14 goes down to a 12. So that's where we're firing at. Okay, so we're going to lay some fire and see if we can get this medium machine gun quieted. He gets a 7. +1 is an 8 on table 12. So we're at 8. We come across to 12. It's a 1 morale check. Okay. So this guy, he's a 7 for his morale. And I'll show you that here. So the first numbers is firepower, the middle numbers is range, and the 7 is his morale. Okay. Seven is +1. 9, he failed it. Okay, so we broke those guys. And they get a desperation morale number because they came under fire. All right. Okay, that's it for my defensive fire phase. We now go to advancing fire phase. So we didn't have anybody advance. Nobody's, well, these guys did, but they can't fire, so we don't have anybody fire. So no advancing fire, no route. Now we do have a route. These guys are actually going to route back here to this leader because I need to be able to get him so that they can get rallied. So they routed back. don't anybody that I want to advance. Well, I could advance these guys up to here and keep line of sight here, and I think I like them right here because I got a feeling they got that line of sight right there, and that's what I need. Okay, these guys could advance if they want to, but I think right now they can stay where they're at. Nothing's really going to happen to them. We're not going to have any close combat phase. Okay, so the final fire marker comes off, and we now go to turn number 2. We flip that over, and that's where I'm going to leave it for this first video, because I want you guys to kind of see it, look at it, give me the touch test a little bit, and go, yeah, you're good, or no, you're not. I think so far it's not bad, but now I'm at a point where we're going to look at smoke probably to come across, see if we can get across here. If I can lay some smoke, block some line of sight, I want to do that. And they're going to have to do a rally here, see what happens with those guys for the Germans, and we'll see what happens. And then I got these guys over here are on the move. They got this hill blocking for them, so they're going to get over here. So the Germans are going to have to kind of get down in here a little bit, and that's what I'm doing here. As soon as these guys get across, these guys can start swinging around down through here too. It's all going to be blocking moves here, and eventually you're going to have to get into the firefight down in here and see who can get who. All right, I think it's been a good start. I like it. It's not an overly long video, I hope, and we'll hang it up here, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Remember, if you're new to the channel, please subscribe, and if you like the video, or if you just feel nice today, give me a thumbs up. The thumbs up helps because the YouTube recognizes that, and then will recognize this video when people search for this type of video. So thumbs up please if you can, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Have a good one.